Good morning, my dear students. So, in our last video, we started a new lesson. The name of the lesson was A Question of Trust. In this chapter, we had come across a character by named Horace Danby, who is a locksmith and who was very good in dealing with locks. And he had a unique character where he used to rob a safe a year. What was the purpose of robbing the safe? To buy new books. He was very crazy about new books, and for that he required money. And for that purpose, he used to steal the houses once in a year. So, this year also he had planned to go for a robbery in a house at Shotover Grange. And in the safe of Shotover Grange, there were jewels worth 15,000 pounds. And if he robbed this house, he would be getting money to buy some interesting books in the next coming autumn. So he has already entered the house for robbing. Then he has arranged all these tools carefully. He has cut off the wire of the burglar alarm. Everything is done. Now he is ready to start his work of robbing the safe. What happens next is what we are going to study further. But Horace found that the flowers were hindering him in his work. He buried his face in his handkerchief. Now Horace, we already know, he has a problem of hay fever, wherein he is allergic to certain kind of flowers and everything. So here the flowers in the drawing room was giving him lot of trouble. Hindering him is troubling him a lot, because he was getting the sneeze again and again. So he just covers his face in the handkerchief. Then he heard a voice say from the doorway, "What is it? A cold or hay fever?" Now somebody is talking to him near the house in the doorway. "What's it? You're having a cold or a hay fever?" Before he could think, Horace said, "Hay fever," and found himself sneezing again. Now hearing to this voice, Horace answers, "I have got hay fever," and he starts sneezing again. The voice went on, "You can cure it with a special treatment. If you find out just what plant gives you the disease, I think you would better see a doctor if you are serious about your work. I heard you from the top of the house just now." So the lady is telling him, "There is treatment for hay fever. You need not worry. Just you should find out which plant you are allergic to. Otherwise, you just go see the doctor. I heard your noise from the top of the house." Now, who is this lady? We do not know who this lady is. It was a quiet, kindly voice, but one with firmness in it. Now, it was a very nice, quiet and kind voice, but it was even firm also. A woman was standing in the doorway, and Sherry was rubbing against her. So he could see a lady standing there, and he could also see the dog rubbing against her. Now, she was young, quite pretty, and was dressed in red. She walked to the fireplace and straightened the ornaments there. Now you can see that in this picture, a lady is standing there. She's quite young, and she was dressed in red, and she was quite pretty. She's standing near the fireplace, and the dog is rubbing against her. "Down, Sherry," she said. "Anyone would think I had been away for a month." She smiled at Horace and went on, "However, I came back just in time, though I didn't expect to meet a burglar." Now she says, "Sherry, don't do that. People will think that I was not there here for a long time." Then looking at Horace, she's telling now, "But I came back on time to see a burglar or a robber there." Horace had some hope because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. He might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. He replied, I didn't expect to meet one of the family. Now Horace was like, oh God, he's caught. But he wanted to avoid the trouble what he's going to undergo. So he thought to talk to the lady in a good way. He said, I didn't expect to meet anyone from the family of this house. She nodded. I see what an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. What are you going to do? Then she says, you never expected to see me, right? I'm coming in your way of your robbery. It's really not convenient for you to meet me. Horace said, my first thought was to run. Then he's replying to the lady, I'm thinking to run away. Of course, you could do that. But I would telephone the police and tell them all about you. They would get you at once. Now the lady is telling, you can't run away from here, because I'll immediately call the police and tell them that you are here for robbing the things. Horace said, I would, of course, cut the telephone wires first, and then he hesitated, a smile on his face. I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough. Now he says, hey, I'm not going to run away simply. I'm going to cut off the telephone lines and make sure that you cannot call the police. And I'll ensure that even you can't tell anything to them. Now she looked at him seriously. Now the lady is looking at him, hearing to Horace's words. You would hurt me? Are you going to hurt me? You're going to beat me up? Horace paused and then said, I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that. Then Horace says, no, I thought of just frightening you to scare you off. You didn't frighten me. Horace suggested, it would be nice if you forget you ever saw me. Let me go. Now Horace is telling, okay, let's leave this matter here. I'm not going to rob anything. I'll go from here. You just forget about this matter that you ever saw me here. The voice was suddenly sharp. Why should I? You were going to rob me. If I let you go, you will only rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you. And the lady is telling, why should I forget you? You have come to rob my house. And how can I let you go? Otherwise you will go and rob somebody else's house. The society should not be with such men. The society should be protected from you people. Horace smiled. I am not a man who threatens society. I steal only from those who have lot of money. I steal for a very good reason. And I hate the thought of prison. Now Horace is telling, no, I don't threaten the society and all. I only steal rich people who have lot of money. And that too I have a reason for stealing. And I don't like prison. I don't want to be in the jail. She laughed and he begged, thinking that he had persuaded her. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. Let me go. And I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it. Now Horace is requesting the lady, please leave me to go. I will never steal hereafterwards. Please allow me to go from here. Please allow me to go from here. I don't like to be in the prison. Please, really let me go. She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, you are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you? Then she asked him, are you really scared of going to the prison? Aren't you really scared? She came over to him shaking her head. I have always liked the wrong kind of people. Then she says, okay, fine. I always like people who do wrong. She picks up a silver box from the table and takes a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter. Now, the lady picks up a cigarette from one of the silver box kept on the table, and Horace is very happy to just help her out. So he takes off his gloves and gives her the cigarette lighter. You will let me go. He held the lighter towards her. Yes, but only if you will do something for me. Now the lady is asking, okay, I'll let you go, but I need a help from you. Anything you say. Now he says, whatever you say, I am ready to do. Please tell me what I have to do. Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank, but I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, so I came down to get them. But, so she says, before we went to London, I had promised my husband to put the jewels in the bank, but it's in the safe now. But I want to wear them for a party tonight, so I came down to take it. Horace smiled. You have forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you? Now Horace says, I think you forgot your number of the safe. Now you all should be knowing, children, that lockers in houses, they have a pin code to open the locker. So that number this lady has forgotten. Yes, replied the young lady. Just leave it to me and you'll have them within an hour. But I'll have to break your safe. Then he says, that I can do it for you within an hour. But I'll have to break the safe for that. Don't worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month and I'll have the safe mended by that time. So she says, that's not an issue. My husband is gone out for a month. So before he comes back, I can repair the safe and keep it proper. And within an hour, Horace had opened the safe, given her the jewels and gone happily away. Then within an hour, Horace just breaks open the safe and gives her the jewels and he leaves. For 2 days, he kept his promise to the kind young lady. On the morning of the third day, however, the thought of the books he wanted, and he knew he would have to look for another safe. But for 2 days, he didn't go for any robbing out. But on the third day, he thought of the books and he wanted to buy that. So he wanted to rob another safe, but he never got the chance to begin his plan. By noon, a policeman had arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. So in the afternoon, what happens? This man was arrested for a jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. The wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, said that the story was nonsense. Then there were fingerprints all around in the house, and nobody was ready to believe his story that he had opened the safe for the owner's wife. And the owner's wife herself, who was a lady of 60 years old, said that the story was a nonsense. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was and who tricked him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves. Now this lady who had visited the house herself was a thief, my dear children. She tricked Horace by telling that she was the owner of the house, and she forced him to open the safe, and this man, without a second thought, opened the safe and gave away the jewels to that robber lady. And now he is himself in the prison as an assistant librarian there, and now he just thinks how he got tricked by this young lady. And that is what is the question of trust, what we were talking about, the question of belief, what we were talking about in the earlier part of the lesson. Very interesting chapter. So this is how Horace Danby was tricked by a very smart lady who herself was a thief and put Horace in the prison. So that ends your lesson, my dear children. Read the lesson. I have sent the PDF file to you. Read it over, understand the lesson carefully, and then I'll be sending you the notes. Please ensure that you copy down the notes in your notebooks. Thank you.